Hello, wonderful people. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting to have you back in this space. I am your host, Marie, and this is the gorgeous Flea here for another episode of Age of Awæcnian. I can't get that tune out of my head, Flea.
Yeah,
Every time I think of
it
Age of
just works.
Awæcnian, it does work, and if anyone that's listening in that hasn't heard the Age of Aquarius song, which is an oldie but a goodie, go and listen to it. There's some great lyrics in there. So yeah, welcome back to another episode of Age of Awæcnian Soulful Stories Unveiled. And if it's not Flea and I, it's us with an amazing guest. And today we have a phenomenal guest joining us. But Flea, before he jumps on with us, how are you feeling today with all of the prep and the energy and the shifts that have happened already in the epic week we've had?
Oh, you've just jumped straight into the card that I was feeling, which is that overwhelm and that, passion ignited. It's it's crazy how much needs to come together for an event like this, and just really honoring the team that we have at the moment that is just working in the back end, just making everything happen. Our beautiful speakers that are banding together to promote this event. It is absolutely phenomenal how much reach we can actually get when we come together. And this is the beauty of what we do and why we're doing it. So, bringing people together from all walks of life to share their stories, to share their wisdom, and to empower us all so that we can all live in this glory and joy in that passion. Like, it's me, passion
Yeah, Passion
ignited.
Fire. If you don't know, Flea's other beautiful name is Passion Fire. She ignites and make things, expand and grow when she's in your field, which is very, very exciting. But yeah, you're so spot on. And the next guest that we have, Richard Asimba, he pretty much, I call him the last minute man, last minute miracle man now, because we've been talking about miracles when we were chatting via Messenger. And yeah, he kind of jumped in like last week, and he is from the UK, and I've loved his energy. And we were just talking beforehand about if you don't ask, you don't receive, because you never know what doors will open. And I love that motto and that way of living, because that's how I choose to live courageously as well. Because a lot of these amazing speakers and yourself, Lee, I put a call out, I asked a question, or I put something out and people answered, or I ask somebody and then most of the time it's a yes, and then things unfold. And so, Richard, welcome. I know you have such an array of skills and gifts and energy. I'd love for you to say hello and introduce yourself to the audience.
What's going on, guys? My name is Richard Asimba, aka Levels of Richard Online. First of all, thank you for having me as your guest. For those who don't know, I'm into like freelance digital marketing, which is affiliate marketing, and also like the scaling and growing with digital marketing. And why them two? Like, I'm a big fan of if things are in congruence, then they can flow gently down the stream. So yeah, we always do what we can to put things into place that are parallel or similar. So, but when it came to this, like I knew what to do as far as like life demands. Like, right, they say, yeah, you get up, you go older, get a job. Like, but I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it was just this, like we become a part of a process almost, like, you know, subconsciously or consciously. Like, I didn't have business instincts. My favorite frame of reference was like subconsciously destructive. I knew I had to make a change, guys, you know, and if I didn't make a change, then yeah, I wouldn't even make ends meet, let alone make it down this yellow brick road. So being optimistic and curious, I think it for a lot of us, it's got us way smart, like way further than being smart ever did. I'm not sure if that was the same for you guys. Like, if you look at a lot of situations when serendipity unfolded, like, was it actually because you were smart, or was it just you're curious and optimistic, and then this portal opened, then you jump through, you're like, oh my god, there's a lot of light in here, and yeah, so chances happened, ideas started just being innovating, and at first, guys, like, the language people were speaking, as far as like you come online, was like alienating. Like, it was completely alienating. Like, I'm thinking, what would you, like, you guys actually read books? I thought we stopped doing that, like, when we go to school. I thought that's over. Like, what do you mean you're reading books? You're listening to audios? Like, okay, like, what the hell's going on? But sooner or later, you understand. Okay, there's a language here, and if they're speaking a different language, there's people out there waiting to meet you, but if you can't speak that language, it may be a barrier, it may reduce your chances. So yeah, just started learning, got fluent with it, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, raw. I was always introverted, but it's like I can be extroverted when I want it to be, and because of going down this path and like exploring my gift and just like in that authentic self, and yeah, now all of a sudden I want to know people. I want to know real people. I want to know what you're up to. Like, oh my god, you've got a gift too. Like, oh wow, like, what's going on? Like, yeah,
I love that. And you have literally like just made the story unfold. So beginning was transformation, and you know that need to do something different. It's like, this isn't fulfilling anymore. Things are just and I need to change. And you know, this happens for all of us in multiple times in our life. And we do call it an awakening, so it can sound kind of weird to people. I actually started out calling it a midlife crisis. I was like, this has to be what they were talking about, because it's like, you know, it's just not fulfilling anymore. This isn't my life. I don't want it to be this way. And then I was like, but I'm not really midlife yet. So what is it? And that term awakening, I was like, okay, that makes more sense. It's this awareness there is more, that there is more that we're not being told, more that we don't know, and that we can grow into that. And you know, you said it perfectly, the light and the universe, they're the two things that come through once you start this journey. It's like, yes, the language is weird, yes, there are some weird practices, but at the end of that ignition of that passion comes through recognizing who we are and the light that we actually have inside. And like, clarity right there, guys. It's, you know, I shuffle these before we get on. I don't know what the story is about. This is just the way it unfolds. So, you know, it's just another method. It's another one of those weird and wonderful things that we do that can help us go inside and make sense of some of the language that we hear. And I just love that that first part just opened that up. Thank you so much.
So good. That curiosity piece that you shared, Richard, you know, that's one of our, I suppose, our biggest pillars at Flea and I, you know, we're still teachers. We still go in and do relief teaching, but that curiosity that the arts gave us, you know, growing up and in that craft that we now get to bring into this field of business, you know, is something that, like you said, it can open doors. I love that, you know, gently down the stream, I was thinking, row, row, row your boat. And then, like, you know, that yellow brick road, like, you know, ease on down the road. I like to sing things now. I sing things more and more these days, just because tapping into that creativity and the fun and finding those stories that resonate with you to drive you forward, I think is really important. And that curiosity, like Albert Einstein said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And that's
wow,
Albert Einstein. That's one of his key quotes, and I've got it on a thing in my daughter's room to remind us the power that, yes, our intelligence is so important, and we can think about logically all the things to align. But if you're not curious about opening a path or meeting someone new or just seeing what happens in the unknown, then you don't know what's really going to unfold, and there's so much magic on the other side. And I think, like yourself, all of us here, and even the speakers, questioning, well, is this what I want for my life? Is this something, is there something more? And I know that seeking of, like, well, how else can I grow, expand, understand this language that these amazing people, like, you get into these rooms or you start meeting people, you're like, whoa, you've got something magnetic, you've got something interesting. What is that? Why are you talking that way? And then, you just start learning and start getting yourself into rooms and spaces where you shift your awareness and your language and your being. And then it's amazing to see what happens. So, for you, Richard, like, what was, I think, that key moment, I suppose, in maybe your adult life recently or down the past, not too far back, with it, was that key moment where you were like, I was doing this job, I felt this, and I knew that this was a turning point. It could have been something really drastic, or maybe it happened over time. Like, I'd love to know what was that awakening moment, because it can look different and it can be many moments. I'd love to know what that was for you that made you shift into what you're doing now.
That's a very good question, Marie. Like as far as like the shift came, I remember like anything which I do, I've got this work ethic which I'm gonna try to do whatever I'm gonna do. But even when I was like in 9 to 5s, I just strive to be like the best I can, but I couldn't really like think outside the box. And even if you think outside the box, like it's still a box, but it's slightly expanded. So I'm thinking, hang on, my information doesn't need to change. It needs to expand. So now, how can we go from thinking outside the box to thinking like there is no box? And okay, like I said, now I'm curious, I'm learning. I see one person, he's saying, like, I see where you've evolved and I can introduce you to one person. And at this point in my life, like, the opportunities, like I wanted to have this pizza shop, and I wanted the boss to teach me how to like own my own pizza shop and create. I just love pizza. For I'm like, you can turn a passion into a business. Why not? But then he revealed, like, hang on, if I teach you, then you're gonna be my competitor across the road. And it was in that moment I'm thinking, raw, I can only go as far as here because it's still like a doggy dog. It's not like entrepreneurship, like it's a very doggy dog. They think, okay, you can't go higher, and if you do go higher, you take my place. So it's me versus you kind of thing. So when this other person said, I've got something you need to look at, I jumped into that. And that was like network marketing. And that's what introduced me first, like into like entrepreneurship. That's what introduced me to like podcasts. That's what introduced me to like audios, books, and just having a mindset that can handle rejection and handle fear, right? Because this is like real world business skills. And so that's what allowed me to just put on this headset and just embody myself in this new language. And then obviously the pandemic came, and it was like, oh my god, the company rules are like, yeah, you still can't use the internet. I'm thinking, hang on, we're inside. If I can't use the internet and I can't go outside, business is dead, mate. I said, listen, I've got to make a business decision. It's not personal yet. No, like, I was thinking, no, I'm gone. I've got to do something. I've got to pivot. I've got to adapt. I've got to improvise. I've got to overcome. I start looking on the internet. I'm scrolling. I'm seeing one guy I've been following for some time posting about some affiliate marketing stuff, Marie. I don't know if it's a scam. I don't know if it's like, is it are we gonna make money? Is it actually worth my time? Like, do I need to know marketing? Do I need to be good at marketing to make this happen? Jump in there, and I'm seeing people can work from the comfort of the home. I think, yeah, it makes sense. We're all inside anyway. Thinking, yeah, I'd love to get to yeah, why not? So yeah, I jump into that. Now it's been a blessing to just learn this asset and put it into play and help anyone ordinary become extraordinary by running a business for less than like a coffee at Starbucks a day. And that's how I shifted in that. The pandemic was like a curse and a blessing, but again, if that door didn't close up, if the affiliate marketing and that would have led me to that door, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like, I think a lot of us have those worries and fears when people meet affiliate marketers, and there's a whole array of different ways now that people are working from home that were opened up. But yeah, those fears that come along with, like, are you a scammer? Are you just taking my money? What's this investment thing? What I have to do to invest in what I'm doing? There are all these questions that require that safety to be built in the relationship, and those are sales skills. A friend of mine who is, she loves the art of selling because it is a part of yourself, and it is language, and it's also safety in being able to relate to people. And look, there are products that you see people sell away, like you see in the commercial world, but then it's like, how do you sell an idea that comes from that authentic place of growth, of that this, if it's whether it's a course or a way of being or food or product, whatever it is, noticing that this is a benefit, and that will then help your life in some way. And I think this concept I've learned to grapple with and shift and lean into now that we've, gone into business, and just really like, well, owning, well, what is our investment as Awæcnian Academy? What is it that we get to gift people? And enrolling and creating relationships with other amazing people to go, well, this is how we support you and you support us. And it's about making the business also work for you in the long term. And I know everything Flea's been doing in the background and creating these systems, like this is going to be beneficial for in the future, but also bring ease and flow and this relationship that, this is the end product that we want our speakers to feel and the audience to feel. And this is what people are investing into, which can be life changing. I know when I've gone into like summit spaces, I'm like, oh, just, put $50 here or $70 here, or I've paid a couple of hundred to be in a room, and it's like, wow, that was life changing, and I didn't know what that was going to give me until I did the thing or I listened to a person, and it was just like those sparks that open, and it does get returned to you. What was that, Flea? What, I can see a card coming up there.
Oh, no, it's all three, just tying in perfectly with what you're saying there, that facing the fears is our shadow. And this is another term that people will hear a lot, oh, you're in your shadow, or, you've got to deal with your shadow side. It isn't actually something to avoid. It's actually something to embrace, because when we can embrace the fears and embrace the emotions and the avoidance, we actually understand what it is we truly seek inside. And that seeking is actually what leads us to, making these, huge choices. And sometimes they do feel scary, and I've been scammed many times. I'm one to trust and believe, because this is who I am deep at my core, is this innocence that just wants to go, oh yes, people are inherently good and nobody's going to scam me. Why would they want to scam me? What are they going to get? I've got no money, so they can't be after my money. But these type of things, it's like, oh, okay, why does this keep happening? And it's recognizing that they're in their fears and they're in their shadows, and they're desperate. So many people are desperate to survive and to find different ways to make a money. And sometimes all we have is the education that we've been given. And if you're in an environment where the only option is to follow a company where, they're teaching you how to scam people, well, what other choice do you have? It's that, or, you're in the gutter. So it's understanding that, and then being cautious and applying it in a different way. But the beautiful thing, what you said, Marie and Richard, is, it's that union. It's the meeting these people that bring us into this spiritual union. And usually it's depicted as like a relationship. Most people are like, oh yeah, two people coming together, it has to be a relationship. But it's not. It's that union of your soul. It's when we're around people that are like-minded and reflective of what we want to be, we actually have the permission to release those fears and to step into it. So that's what the Academy embodies. It's coming together in a union so that you can find yourself. And so we're no longer living in fear and environments where we're not supportive of growth. I don't want to be scammed, and I'm sure the people that are scamming feel absolutely awful when, you know, they actually do successfully end up getting their money or whatever. Like, there has to be some type of guilt there that then continues that cycle. And it's like, no, we need to reach out. We need to say, actually, affiliate marketing is a perfect way you can make money. And I actually had a gentleman the other day ask for money, and I said, look, this is what I can offer. We, you know, our ticket sales are out and available at the moment. You can earn 15% from any ticket you sell with your name. And I gave him the affiliate code. He didn't sign up, but that option was available. And that was the way I could support him, as well as not be scammed myself. Like, I'm very aware of how they come through now.
Mm.
But, you know, these are the ways we can change that, and we can create the safe environment. So,
Yeah.
sorry, Richard, I took off there. But yeah,
Yeah,
learning.
good.
No, I
So,
think it's
Richard, with those,
a very
yeah,
good point. I mean, like,
it
it doesn't
is.
happen by osmosis. It's like synergy and masterminds, like Marie was saying. That that's where you're going to get this environment, which is going to cultivate your growth. Like, you can't put your
Mm.
seed in a toilet and expect it to grow. It has to be in the right place to get that
Yeah,
nourishment and that vitamin, right?
yeah, yeah. And so, Richard, like these pieces, when you shifted into this and you started getting into these rooms and meeting people and learning, you know, I suppose what fears did you have to shift through and notice within your own self development and your growth that you were like, oh, that's coming up for me. How do I notice this? And then, like, you apply these techniques, and you mentioned about dealing with rejection and failure. Like, that's obviously a real thing that stop a lot of people. So what fears and things came up for you that you had to work through and navigate and just, you know, overcome? And I'd love to know like how you did that.
That's a very good question. Yeah. Obviously, with I've always been big into like the yin yang and Confucius work, and what's his name? Lao Tzu. What's that book of the Tao Te Ching? And I think Confucius said something one time. He said the one who asked, what's that quote? He said it was so powerful, Marie. He said the one who asks a question is a fool for a second, but the one who doesn't ask a question is a fool for life. I said,
Mm.
whoa, hang on a minute, Confucius. I said, for life. I said, that's a long time. So I'm going to have to start asking some questions. I said, a second, that's not too bad, right? Embarrassment maybe comes and it goes. So, okay, now to put yourself in that situation. I mean, at first, it's always going to be the hardest, but because of just having like quotes like that, and because I'm reading books, I guess the biggest fear for me was not taking any risk like at all. You know, I think that was like you come to these places and some people like, okay, and me myself, like, a lot of us, you know, we arrive at these situations, we see something we like, we like, and it's almost like we want it if we can just for free. Like, we'd like, oh, most of the time you'd want it for free, but you can't climb ladders with your hands in your pockets. So my biggest, like, I think my biggest fear was probably that I knew how to give up and it was easy, Maria and Felicia. I'll be honest.
Mm.
The fact that I knew that, like, in my head, like it was even like available and how easy, like that. Ooh,
Mm.
yeah, that gave me the chills. And as far as like strategies to put in like into place, like, I have some days, I'll be honest, where, you know, I didn't want to do it, but I done it on my back, I done it on crawling, I done it running. Like, I put the behavior before the beliefs, and sooner or later, because it was a reverse flip, because I put the mirror flip on it. Now, on them days where I felt like I didn't want to do it, stuff was still getting done because I was getting into this situation where first you create your habits and then your habits create you. So nevertheless, I was now in a position to win. It wasn't a matter of if anymore. It now became a matter of when. That
Mm.
makes sense. But
Mm.
before, like, yeah. I'll let you guys go in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so many
Perfect.
when you said that piece, my heart just went that knowing that you can give up and it's so easy. Are you gonna tap into that too, Flea?
Yeah, it was the following the action and not the belief. It was that is what we've just come to learn. It's like the thinking with the heart, but feeling with the mind. So, that reverse situation where, actually what feels right in here is actually what's going to be logically correct in the mind. And so many of us, we're taught to think logically. It's like, okay, yes, logically we should be doing A, B, C, D. We should follow the structures. We should sign up to a proper platform, or, have a full-time job or whatever. That's our logic. But deep down in our heart, we know that that's incorrect. It's like, oh, I hate this job. Why do I hate this job? Why am I doing something I'm not passionate about? And it's when you reverse flip, it's like, hang on a sec. This fills my heart. I want to do more of this. How then? And then we go back into the mind. How can I do more of that? And that's exactly how you phrased it before. It's that mirror flip. It's like, yes, we're seeing the reflection of these people that we want to be like. And we're seeing the reflections of, what is possible out there. And we actually get to choose. I'm going to step through the mirror. I'm not going to keep looking at this reflection of what I could be. I'm going to step through it, and I'm going to become what's on the other side. And that's magic. It's everything all encompassed in one. It's when you flip the thinking from your heart to your mind, and you do it in reverse.
The way you ask questions, Felicia, as well, like, because when you start to ask questions like that, like, if you believe you can get good at something, if you believe that you can put time and energy and you can get good at something, now how you spend your time becomes a spiritual question. And okay, I'm 5'6". I understand I may not be able to dunk a basketball like LeBron James, right? I know about disproportionate returns. It doesn't matter how many days I do in the gym. I run up that park and climb up. I'm not going to do it like LeBron James. But however, 50% is not DNA genetics. 50% we can be curious, we can be optimistic, and more people have been successful through, working and investing on themselves rather than raw talent. So that excited me. That excited me to see how far we can go.
Yeah. And it's this piece about like when we can lean into that more, then the inherent talents then get to be enhanced, because all of us have these beautiful gifts and skills. And like we can see so many people that are super talented or really gifted, but then they're not taking action to do anything about it. And it's that piece of like deciding, okay, and it's that switch of like, I'm going to make a shift and I'm going to choose differently. The how you get there, this is a lot of the spirit and guidance. And I was listening to, and I love podcasts too, and I was listening to a podcast, and it was like, release the how. You've set the intention, you've made action. Don't worry about how you're going to get there, and let the pieces unfold. And it was like, yeah, okay. Because my brain, I have a big vision sometimes, but then I want to think about, okay, well, we're going to do this thing here and this thing here and this thing here. And that can happen. But I know that when I've released the how, other things just come into place, or people. And I think about when I used to direct musicals for kids and teenagers, they are the most amazing, gifted people, beings that will get you to question how and learn to release and let go, because they will have their say and make things. And then you utilize the skills and tools of what's in front of you, whether it's business, whether it's in your family, whether it's just, in life in general, just to surrender, because you've decided and taken that aligned action and made that choice. But then this is where spirit comes into play, and faith, which is different from belief. You've set the belief, the intention, the habits, but then it's like, okay, let's allow that piece to play in the field, and magic just unfolds. So I think that in between part and the unknown is a lot of, again, the fear of like, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. Am I going to lose my home? Am I going to lose my job? Is this person I love going to leave me because I've made these decisions? Is it all stupid and I just don't know what I'm doing? And it's that allowing that to be felt, I think, as well, to be released, is part of the alchemy and the healing of then, okay, let that go. Now let's take the next step into what I truly desire and want for my life, which is amazing. And so, Richard, in moving into this field, becoming really passionate, learning these new skills, but also the gifts that you have, like, what is it that you want to you want to achieve, and your dreams and your vision of what you want to create for yourself in your life?
That's a beautiful question, Marie. Like, I'm not gonna sit here when I first started and say like, yeah, I wanted to help lots of people. I was in a situation, and I think like most, if I wanted that bag. That's how it started off, right? Like, I'll be totally real. I needed that bag. Maybe it was at this situation. I think at one point, like not long ago, before backing this property, like this property had a flood. So, but even like before that, like you said, in the relationship, there was one situation which obviously led me to like this house and whatever. But it's all been a blessing, like in disguise. So like the vision going forward, it's like, for me, it's just it's now it's grown into like positively impacting people like around the world, right? Like helping people turn content into sales. Because like with affiliate marketing, digital marketing, what I was seeing, and obviously just with my uh okay, here's what I was seeing: a lot of people who wasn't making as much success or wasn't getting their first commissions didn't know how to make content. And then that's when my coaching, from what I was seeing from the people who were smashing it and from the people who were like, okay, posting on the group, like, da 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 da. So, that's what we do as marketers. We see, like, what's happening here. Like, okay, like, why is there a long line outside the shop? Is it because of the product? Is it because they've got something in common? Like, them little questions there. So I'm thinking, hang on, these lot don't know how to make content. That's why they're not making the first sale, not made the second one. So they started calling me coach, and that led into the coaching packages which I've got for social media, and just helping affiliates utilize social media to turn content into sales, because it's a great time to be alive, right? Like, you can turn content into sales, and I just want to help anyone ordinary do extraordinary things, and just like bring them to awareness and awakening that you also have this opportunity, right? Like, I'm the same as you. Like, I put on my trouser 1 foot at a time. For before I even got my first sale, I was doing it for 4 months without nothing, and then became an explosion on, like, got over 19 sales, and then TikTok exploded. So just showcasing this in a way, like, not to like impress people, but to express people what's possible in the modern day and age we live in. Like, I believe it's the equivalent to the gold rush, digital gold rush. Like, however you want to utilize online. And I want people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, I guess, around the cul-de-sac, drugging around themselves around the cul-de-sac. Yeah, I just want to be a part of the movement, which is helping bring forward that, okay, you've got a choice, like you guys were saying earlier. Like, you've got like, you can step into your power, or you can forfeit your power. But yeah, just to remind people, you've got a choice, and positively impact people around the world with digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and motivation speaking.
And that card there was the movement, choices, and decisions. And that is our power. Ultimately, that all you have to do, like, yes, there is going to be fear and there may be uncertainty, but it is in that choice. It's like all you have to do is make one, and then that path is, it's already started. So that first initial, okay, I might need to leave my partner, or, I might need to start a business, or I'm going to leave my job. Like, that first choice is the first step onto the escalator that's just going to take you straight up. Like, you don't even need to take the steps, because once you've made that first decision to go into your destiny, you're guaranteed that victory and success. You get to the top. It's an escalator. We go, okay, yes, this is where I'm being led. This is where my heart is ignited. So I'm going to step. And it's that first step that leads us there. And like you said earlier, Richard, like, a lot of people will actually get to the point where it's quite difficult. Marie and I have been in that situation going, do we keep going? Like, we've got so many costs and things to outlay, and we've got to work part-time, and it's so much effort to be drawn between the two different energies. And it would be so easy to just go, oh yeah, it didn't make it, and to let it fall. Like, that's easy. Like, just, oh yeah, let it crumble. That's okay. We tried. It's all good. We'll try something else. And that is a possibility, but that's also one of those choices. And for us, the choice is no, this means more. And if we've got to work hard now, then it's going to pay off later, because we've stepped onto that escalator, and as we've said at the beginning, last year we had 26, 28 speakers. This year we've got 49. Like, it can only grow. Like, that's phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's exactly as you're saying, Richard. You just take that step, you just make the choice, and you go, okay, I could give up, but I'm not going to. And that there in itself is that decision
Mm,
that's,
yeah.
bam,
And
has you on our
that's
show now.
that piece about resilience, like being okay with, like, I think the training of feeling rejection. And I speak about failure as first attempt in learning. So how many times can we fail in this light of learning? And like, this is like a first attempt. I'm just going to learn it this way. Can I learn it this way? Can I keep failing more just to keep learning? So it's like changing the lens of, failure as a gift of resilience, as a gift of, okay, how can I problem solve and be more solutions driven? Or is there another lens to look at it? And I found in my drama training, and like being able to play, improvise, think on your feet, work with, I figure, being able to hold a room of teenagers, that's the best tool that has given me to hold stages now and to hold presence. If I can capture the hearts and minds of 14, 15-year-olds that don't care and change them, then I can do that on a bigger scale. And how else can I grow? How else can, I be determined? And, there have been every moment that we choose in our lives, we will find the successes, and then we will notice maybe, well, maybe why is that not working? Why is that failing here? Or maybe this isn't here. But it's actually, when you look at the grand scale of things, it's all working for you, And I know for me in the last year, knowing that a gift is anything I create is one of a kind. And I'm never meant to repeat it, because when I think back to what I created in schools, even the classroom, the content, every day was different. And that's where I was flourishing. Anything I created with dance groups or musicals or what lessons, they were always different and uniquely crafted for the people in that room. And it was like this piece that only just really sat with me the last few months. It's like, you're not meant to be cookie cutter. You're meant to
Right.
like evolve and grow. You're meant to, and it's like, okay, just be open to shifting, changing. Yes, you can still have structure and framework that will benefit you, but it's going to be different and so unique every single time. And I really lent into that because part of my design is about trial and error and curiosity. So I'm like, okay, let's just keep learning. Yes, we can do these, but it's this piece of devotion and resilience and motivation, because knowing what failure feels like, knowing what the depth of the darkness
Mm,
feels like, is just such a rich experience. And the habits that form from, like what you were saying, in choosing to get up every day, to take the next step, to say to yourself, I am freaking awesome. Look yourself in the mirror and go, yes, I can do anything. And really devoting and declaring, which is different from affirmations, I believe. That's a great start to change the mindset.
mm,
But it's declaring to yourself, deciding, I'm going to change the world. Or whatever it is you want to do. And that is enough to then allow the doorways to open, the stairways to rise. And it's that devotion, I think, and resilience that you both have been talking about, that I think has been a little bit lost during COVID, or it's really strengthened people. And
Mm.
we forget how resilient we are.
I think like growing up, it's like when you have all these rules and parents or like angel guardians, it's like you feel like, hang on, you're restricting me, you're stopping me having fun. And when you grow older, you realize actually them structures that you was talking about is actually what's gonna help us guarantee success. It's that narrow path in which you're following like day in and day out, like doing them productivity habits that's actually gonna get us over the edge to the finishing line, to the promised land. So yeah, like just tying the vision into one, I think we're very parallel in the sense, Marie, like when you spoke about the youth, I felt it. Like I think it's going to be awesome that our nephews and nieces and sons and daughters will want to be a part of something great just because we chose to be a part of a process. And that is awesome. That simply because we chose to unfold this gift, like they will look up and be like, hang on, okay, what, to be in that situation, I don't have to be a knucklehead. I don't have to be a bully. Like, hang on, I can actually be nice. Like, come on, like this is, at the end, I believe there's only two things that matter, like who you become and what you give back. So yeah, powerful.
Mm.
Sorry, that was my passion
It's so
speech,
amazing.
Marie.
Oh, love it.
That was the first card, wasn't it? The passion. Passion
Yeah.
ignited. I love that.
Yeah. And I suppose this is, why we created this space as well, and have amazing people like you that have been magnetized. And it's like, I think one of the first things that Flea and I said, we need to work with the leaders, the everyday people that are the bridge makers, the paradigm shifters, to then think about the future. Like, we always love working with children and the youth and what we get to live now and leave behind. And it's like, to allow the safe spaces for our children, our youth, our future children, and all the amazing, gifted, beautiful souls that have come in, allowing them to see us go, well, things can be done differently. It doesn't have to be in a classroom with brick walls and desks. Like, that way of learning is still so 18th century. And like you said, you picked up a book again in your adult life and you were hungry to learn. So how do we bring that hunger and that thirst for knowledge and curiosity as a way of, like, can we bring that back to our youth again? And if we, as the leaders, as the mothers and fathers, the teachers, the uncles and aunties, the neighbors, can we then role model that, not only to each other as adults, but our kids are watching, the teenagers are watching, they are looking at what we're doing. And if we're not showing up in that authentic self, in the passion, then of course they're not going to see what is possible in others. And I think that's what still draws me back to being in school settings. And it's like, how can I open my wings wide today, and for kids to feel this, the ones that are ready. And I was playing a game with some year fours yesterday. They're like, what, 8, 9 year olds, and they're like, you're the best teacher, can we play more games like this tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, I might not be in here tomorrow, but that sense of play, curiosity, but also, having those boundaries. They do crave the boundaries, and we do too. And, I found, even in my own journey, having so many boundaries and walls around me, I actually just, like, went to the extremities when I was shifting through things, where I'm like, I don't want any boundaries. I don't want any time constraints. I just want to just show up whenever the hell I want, because I've always had to be here on time, and then coming back, allowing that to be felt and experienced. So then I can go, okay, I'm going to balance that. There are other people that still need me to be on time to things or here, but I can, teeter between the worlds. Was there anything like that for you, I suppose, Richard, growing up, where you're like, I need to experience something totally, completely different to what I have grown up, so that I can expand and grow? Like, is there something from, like, I'm curious, like with your childhood or teenagehood, where you're like, feels like this, and I just need to, like, get out and just completely get outside my comfort zone? Has it been a time like that for you, that I suppose was another little catalyst or turning point to who you are now?
Oh, okay, okay, like on a pivot point. Um,
Yeah.
I would say, like where we're like in the area which I'm from, that them little moments where like it's like, okay, try something different. I call the area like this this area, when we was growing up, I call it the museum. Like, it isn't that bad, but when we was growing up, like the museum, maybe some days, was some areas of the museum was closed, right? And you know what, children, like, you get into mischief, you don't know till you don't know. Like, how do you know good if you don't know bad, right? So
Yeah.
with what music allowed us to do, like I remember just like we was just like writing, or just like rapping and hip hopping. And I remember like I wasn't really pushing it, like I was just doing it because I think it was just like therapeutic. Like I don't really talk much, but if you give me that pen and with that time, you could sort of have your way of venting without getting arrested or hurting anybody. I said, this is brilliant. Feel me? I definitely recommend it. And one person knocked on my door one day. He's like, yo, you've got raps, we've got raps. Like, there's a studio over there. Like, we should go do something. I'm there, like, my God. Like, am I going to? And he's knocking on my door, so he's not like phone me or anything. Like, it's there, it's live, it's in that moment. And I think for me, that was one like life changing situation, because the memories which it brought from that, the creative mind which it opened from like that side of the brain, how much memories with people it like got, how much opportunities it then led for people to maybe even like take that serious or grasp something from that, build a foundation, build a love for that. I think that's when I had that, like, okay, this I never knew, like growing up, I just wanted to do it, right? I never knew you could make money from it. Like I just wanted to do it. And that's the only time I think I've felt like that. I done football as well, but you see with the football guys, it was like I didn't get the best grades in school, but I honor my parents, and again going back with like work ethic and everything I do. And so anything I can do, like which you opportunities that people give me, like you feel like I don't take it lightly. Like I've not just taken a cursory glance. I've dedicated my life to that question. So when I played football, like I remember the times, they sacrificed, couldn't make it, spoke to that parent for me to be there, like all the things which they'd have done for me to do them, to be in that situation, for me to do another hobby that I like, and that's me staying out of trouble. That's me in a situation where I look at it now and I think maybe going forward, like maybe I might create like a sports academy, because I've seen the character and development what sports has done for people. Like if you judge a fish and its ability to climb a tree, then hell yeah, them kids in the classroom are bad. You feel me? He doesn't want, like you say, he doesn't want to be around them 18th century bricks, but maybe he's got a gift in him. He's got a gift in him that some people are never going to identify, but in other places it might. Like I remember a teacher who some kid was making noise, like tapping on his thing, and instead of sending him out, the teacher said, "You know what? We're gonna put you in the music block. We're gonna get you a piano because you keep doing all this stuff on your desk and making noise." I can't remember his name, guys, but he's big. He's big. He is big now, and it's vision. Like school doesn't really, they teach you what to think, but they don't teach you how to think. And I think that's where people like us have a chance to change the game. If people are gonna be at this event, you feel like you might get something, and it can be life changing. It can be transformative, just like that. So yeah, I'm excited, guys.
Uh, you just
Very,
lit
very.
up my heart then, because that is exactly, where I sit. I grew up and I loved school because it, for me, was the safe zone. It's like, oh, it has rules, it has structure. I know that when I go there, exactly how it's going to operate. I know that where everything's going to be, and that was safe for me. So I actually loved it, and that's what drove me into becoming a teacher. It's like, okay, I can provide that for other people. I can be that teacher that's going to inspire. But very much like you, Richard, the box was way too conforming, and it didn't allow me to actually reach them in that manner. I work mainly in public schools, so they're quite hard and difficult over here. But it led me to that question of, well, who am I? And it was a flip of, like, I've been trying to work it out. Who am I? I can't describe it. And it went to the opposite. It went, okay, well, who am I not? I'm not
Mm,
Marie. I'm not an animal. I'm not a tree. I'm not nothing. I'm something. And that deeper something is what drives what I want to do in the academy, which is for children, where we can show them through the different models of love and passion. Like, I love art. I love creating costumes and plays and becoming different characters. Like, every time you see me, I will look different. And I just love that part of, being able to be unique in that sense. And it led me down the road of language, and how language is actually one of the ways that we get to express ourselves. And it's through identifying not exactly what people are saying, because we know, like, through poetry and through music, that lyrics can hide underlying meanings. And in drama and art, that pretending to be something else actually shows us more depth of language and expression than what is actually being said. So being able to recognize the power behind, okay, what can I hide in the message? What can I, deliver in a way that's going to reach people that are seeking something that can't be said? And, this is so powerful and so beautiful to be able to go, oh, let's explore this differently. And your name, Simba, when you said, those areas that were closed off, I was reminded of the Lion King and Simba going, but what about over there? What is that? And, that message of Mufasa going, oh, that is not for you. That is not, that is not safe. Don't go. Why wasn't that explained? That, children actually understand barriers. They understand safety and instinct. But when we hide, the truth behind the message, like it's actually unsafe, that's where the hyenas live, they will try and kill you, he wouldn't have gone exploring. He wouldn't have gone seeking, the thing that was outside of the confines of the box. If we open the box and we go, actually, this is what can be, but we have to actually be aware of the dangers and the and the misconceptions around that, and we're honest. Children understand that. You can sit there, and I mentor a beautiful young girl, and it's like, start to look at people's judgment as a self-confession and watch how the conversation changes. When a person is sitting there, oh, that person's fat, they're actually saying that about themselves. They don't believe that they can be fat because for whatever reason their belief pattern says it's unhealthy. Look at what people are actually saying in a flipped manner, and you actually get the truth, because we all hide through our language what we truly feel. And that there opens us up for this world of impossibilities, because when we can believe it and when we know that there are people there to support us in that dream, everything is possible. Not anything, everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
What can't I be?
So beautiful.
Can't be a
And I
tree.
love that. No.
She
And I
is
love
live.
that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You took it on. You took it on.
I love it. And I think that beautiful gift of your memory of someone actually knocking on your door and the opportunity, a beautiful past principle of mine was like, when opportunity knocks, open the door. And that phrase has stuck with me. And so thank you for sharing that piece of your youth and seeing like, well, that experience that you had to unlock your creativity and to express and to feel and just to have those moments, I think is so powerful. And, even that musician you were talking about with the keys, like having that one teacher notice and go, actually, try this, try this. And this is life in your business, in our business. We're going, try this, try this. What if you tried this? And imagine, and this is where we think bigger, imagine schools or other businesses tapping into this world where we can go, hey, you're struggling with your content and your material and your storytelling. Come talk to Richard. He knows what he knows what you need to do to just up level this part of your business. Come and talk to this person over here that will help you just take the burden off your shoulders and go deeper within your conscious mind. Could we just release? Talk to this amazing breathwork facilitator to allow yourself to use your fullest capacity of your body so you can notice the moments of stress, so that you can enhance everything in your body to then show up in your voice. Imagine going to this person here and they're hosting an amazing summit where you can get this plethora of knowledge, skills, ways of being. Like, this life is a school. What we're learning lessons every day. And I think about the young people that I'm still in schools with. I'm like, there's something missing here. They would be way more engaged talking to someone like you than whatever they're doing in that classroom. Because this generation, they are so attuned to what technology is out there. There are gifts there, but it's like balancing the imbalance and going, well, actually, you could be talking to someone like yourself and becoming an entrepreneur as a teenager. There are kids already making more money than we are because of their parents or their circumstances and the opportunities of going, actually, let's use this skill here, let's use this skill here. And there are kids that are just using their innovation and have their own businesses and, you know, giving back to the world. So imagine us all as teachers, coaches, business owners, facilitators, whatever it is, like imagine if we like could change this way of how we share knowledge, teach each other and grow. So yeah, it's beautiful. And so Richard, in your session in the summit, what are you excited to share with everybody who is listening in that would, you know, love to come and feel more of your wisdom and your tips and tricks? What are they going to learn from you in your session?
What are they going to learn? It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. Obviously, silver lining the clouds around business leadership and social media content, and just how you guys, like you talk about skills, right? How you can have a skill that has utility in the marketplace, because if you can do that right now, guys, like you can change your life around like dramatically. Like a lot of people are trusting people who look like me and you guys more than they even trust these corporate buildings. They want to, but are you going to be on the other side to meet them? So yeah, it's gonna be, how can I put, it's gonna be it's gonna be epic. That's all I can say right now. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
But
excited.
what I will say, um, okay, cool. There's gonna be a safari. There's gonna be a little bit of a digital safari. That's what I'm gonna say for now, guys. But yeah, epic,
I
epic.
love that because that's the first thing I noticed in the background was the little safari animals and everything in the image. I was like, oh, and there's the lion and all the spirit animals. Yay! You know, I love this because when they pop up for me, it's that reminder that, you know, the strength and the resilience and the coming together. Like in that image, you've got all of those animals that technically wouldn't be side to side, but you know, we can decide to come together. You know, we can change, you know, what it is to be an enemy and to actually collaborate and come into
Mm.
fulfillment and oneness, because that's what we are. And that's the AE and Awæcnian, is that oneness.
Mm, yeah. And let's up level with some cool skills. It doesn't have to be hard. We can choose and decide for it to be easy and have people there to help us if it is not our strength. Because so many people like yourself, Richard, are happy to help and show people how they can do it that's authentic to them. You know, I look at this piece of content creation as devotion, you know, that me being vulnerable without any makeup on, because I literally, even though I was up messaging, I'm like, I'm just going to show up like this because that's part of me. I'm a mum. I am working freaking hard at the moment. And I did straighten my hair last night because I knew I was going on this live. And like, that's it. That's all I can do. And just, you know, being authentic. I mean, this, I could take that as a reel and put that on Instagram if I wanted to. And,
Right.
you know, there are days where I will glam up and put makeup on and do all the things and just play in that realm. And it's like, how do we take our moments of our lives to then create content and storytelling and show people that it's okay to show up in all facets of you? You don't always have to be like the full shiny thing that we see on advertising, because people they like that, but they don't always want that. They want to see real people, you know. And I love that you get to help others build skills to bring that to this beautiful tool that we can leverage to connect, to show, and to invite people into our businesses, invite them into curiosity, and invite them to seek more. So I'm so excited for your session. And Richard, how can people get in contact with you if they've listened in and they're like, oh my God, I need to contact Richard? How can they connect with you?
So my socials is at levels with Richard. That's no spaces in between. That's my handles for the TikTok. And also, you mentioned about being authenticity. That platform there, I think, has catered like more to that. Where obviously Instagram was more aesthetically pleasing for a while, and when TikTok came in, it was similar. They're trying to be like YouTube, so in that you're accepting more raw authenticness and for people who, like you're saying, you can show up how you're showing up there. Yeah, absolutely loving it. Like, but yeah, that's the handles for literally everything online, guys. We can reach millions at the click of a button with social
Mm-hmm.
media right now. This is the equivalent to the digital gold rush. Like, at least give it a go. Alicia, you talked about the animals in there, right? It's not no justice or injustice. It's just do or do not, right? It's live or not live. But I think life is, what we're humans. We're a different type of intelligence. I'm not going to say they're not intelligence, because I watch animal documentaries and I get more like from freaking animals. Like, have you guys ever watched documentaries and you come out thinking, raw, I've actually had a freaking a good lesson. Like that one there's talking, look at the belief of the lion. That guy is not the biggest, he's not the smartest, he's not the freaking fastest, but when he saw that elephant, he said lunchtime, and my god, it was incredible stuff.
Uh,
Love
that
animals.
reminded me. I was meditating, and all the ants that were running around, and it's like watching them, and it's like, oh, this is so amazing the way they, go here, there, everywhere. They're working together. Somebody gets squished and they pick it up. And then I had this awful thought of, oh, I'm the big monster that's actually squishing on them. Every time I walk, I'm squishing on an animal. But they adapt and they move, and they'll quickly bite us on the toe if we're in their vicinity. So that awareness and that understanding is so great, to just be able to go, actually, let's look at it at a minute scale, so that we actually see how powerful we really are as human beings, and how much destruction that we actually cause to other life forms on this planet. And that awareness was just profound, because it's that understanding how much power we have and how we can actually shift and change it in that manner. It's like, oh,
Oh,
a
gosh,
simple
that's
little
a
ant.
whole this is a whole panel in itself. We could talk about what we learn from the natural surroundings. That's in the
Mm.
next summit that we're doing in August. So I'm going to just put a little
Oh,
little
oh,
curiosity
oh.
taster there. So maybe
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to talk about that.
Now for
But
sure it
thank
will
you
survive.
But thank you so much for your time, Richard, and looking forward to sharing the summit with you next week and leaning in and learning some more amazing things from you. So thank everybody for listening in, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.